Have you ever been so angry you couldn't stop shaking? Have you ever been so angry that, your whole body was just vibrating? That type of anger. Or have you ever been so angry that you said something you shouldn't have said? Hi, I'm Manatia from Quantum Upgrade, and I'm an energy healer sharing with you practical tips that you can use to help you to get amazing results physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And if this is something that you're interested in, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell so you'll be notified when I post new videos. Let's begin. I remember not too long ago that I used to get angry about just about everything. Doesn't even matter what it is, and it took me the longest time to figure out what it was that was triggering my anger, what it was that I was angry about. And once I was able to understand what that was and what the triggers were, I was able to actually be able to overcome that anger and not just fly off the handle. And sometimes I'd be ending up tripping and falling and banging, and anger can do that to you. And sometimes you could be so angry that you're afraid of saying anything or expressing it or anything, and so you swallow it. And you know what happens when you swallow it? It has to go somewhere. It's an energy. It has to move. Energy is always flowing. So when you don't express that anger in a positive way, that energy gets lodged somewhere in your body. And that's why some parts of your body ache and you don't even know why. But that's usually what happens, is because there are trapped emotions lodged in that location. So what triggers anger? Most people consider anger as a negative thing, but really it's a natural emotion. However, anger is a natural response to perceived threats. The trick is to knowing whether it's a real threat or a perceived threat. And don't get me wrong, it could be a negative thing as well, because when you're not in control of it, it can definitely get out of hand and things can go from bad to worse. There are many common triggers for anger, such as losing your patience, and I can go down a whole list of different things that could trigger you. It could be your spouse, it could be your children, it could be the person who cut you off while you were driving, it could be literally anything. So the trick is to know what those things are, especially in very challenging situations. So how can you learn to never be triggered again? I have to tell you, there's always going to be some kind of trigger, but you don't have to react to it. You understand? The trick is to know what your triggers are and put in place things that you could do to alleviate whatever the situation might be, or to de-escalate those triggering points. That's why I encourage anyone who is struggling with deep emotional trauma to seek therapy. Emotional code is the simplest and easiest way to alleviate anger and frustration or any deep emotional traumas. It also promotes a way to channel those emotions in a positive way. But if you're not able to get to therapy or you don't have access to it right away, here are 5 simple steps that you can start practicing to help you in those stressful situations. Number 1, acknowledgement. You have to understand what is going on an internal level. You have to know what's happening on the inside with you, but you've got to find a way to carve out a few moments throughout your day to get in touch with what's happening on an internal level. Just simply stop for a few minutes and ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? Listen to what it says and then move forward from there. Number 2, acceptance. Our ego likes to keep us looking a certain type of way. Our ego creates this image of us, and it wants to maintain that image of ourselves and keep it safe. And so when stuff is happening to us, we get into a spot where it's like, how is that? Why is that happening to us? And we kind of get triggered by that. So one of the things that you need to do is to accept that even though you see yourself as that, the world is still the way the world is, people are still the way that they are, and things are going to flow the way that they do. How you react in a positive way, hopefully, is what's going to determine your feelings about pretty much everything and anything. And for everybody, it's going to be obviously different. Number 3, reframe. By reframing what has happened in the past and putting it into and looking at it in a different way will change the way we feel about it. Think of a time of when something has happened that you were not happy with, or you were very angry or frustrated with, and try to look at it from a different perspective. So if you're not in touch with your feelings, asking yourself, how am I feeling for the first time, you might be surprised. Number 4, forgive. I know you've heard this before, but it's true. Have you ever noticed that when you're angry with yourself, you end up injuring yourself? How many of you do that? When you're so angry because you've done something that you consider like so stupid, or you're just like, oh, I can't believe I did that. And then you go and do something else, you bang your elbow, you stub your foot, you slam something on your hand. Oh my goodness. Has that ever happened to you? Comment below if that has ever happened to you. So the more you learn to forgive yourself, the more likely you will forgive other people. You have got to take it easy on yourself. You have got to forgive yourself. Well, what you could do is forgive yourself and learn from that experience and move forward. Number 5, and this is important, you have got to recognize those things that trigger you. You got to know what they are. It's important, because then you can either avoid those situations, you can put in place steps that would help you to de-escalate the situation. So it's the same scenario where once you know what your triggers are, you can practice those scenarios in your mind so that when those things happen, you'll know what to do right away. So these are just the 5 simple things that you can do. I said they were simple. I didn't say they were easy. You got to practice it if you want to make it into something that becomes a habit. So practicing these 5 simple steps is a great way to stay calm and be proactive in any given situation. If you want more help with letting go of your anger or frustration, or to deal with deep emotional issues, click on the emotion code link in the description box below for more information. Like, share, comment, and remember to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell so you'll be notified whenever I post new videos. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.